though the pipeline never was built, but you announced that there should be a permanent solution,
Yeah.
and I believe that is required by law, and I believe it's required by the contract with the drilling companies that they provide a permanent solution. There's no permanent solution to the families in Dimmock, and I know of one family in particular that still has problems, and they're not getting the help they need. So
Yeah.
my question for you is, you know, and I personally, I've been following you and your record, and, you know, on the good side, you know, the enforcement action against Cabot, the consent agreements, you showed a lot of attention to Dimmock, which is all outstanding. I think the intervention that you did for the families in Franklin Forks, absolutely outstanding. What you're doing for Max, outstanding.
So let me talk about the pipeline and permanent solutions. Look, and I've written about this, and people can go read. I came up with the idea of a pipeline to deal with the issues in Dimmock. I came up with that idea in June of 2010. I did so because pipelines have been built in other situations, not gas drilling cases, but other situations where people's water had been contaminated, typically by industrial chemicals. It wasn't a first in the state. The precedent has always been there, and I, in fact, asked Cabot Oil and Gas to voluntarily build the pipeline, and then in not so legal terms, they basically said, go pound sand. No, they weren't going to do it. At which point, we went to, at the time, Governor Rendell, and said, could we move forward? And this was September, and we understood at that point that we were going to have to try to have Penvest, a state agency, initially pay for the water line and then sue Cabot Oil and Gas in order to try to recover the money. You might have remembered something happened in November of 2010. Tom Corbett won the election, and I wasn't going to work for Tom Corbett for two reasons. First, I would never have worked for him had he asked me, and there was no chance in hell that he was ever going to ask me. So I was going to be out the door by January of 2011. And it was very clear, given that the Republican leadership on Penvest and in the state legislature had come out against the water line, had said it was a waste of taxpayer money, that under the Republican governorship and the Republican control of the legislature, it wasn't going to happen. So that's the history. Now let's talk about the future. The future has to be one where the governor and the government and the DEP is on the side of ordinary Pennsylvanians when it comes to these kinds of humanitarian issues. And people should not have to be lawyering up to get answers to why their water went bad. That's why I want this independent office. I have a record that shows that I will go into people's homes. I walked into a number of people's homes in Dimmock, sometimes through protesters stirred up by Cabot Oil and Gas, who were angry at me for being too tough on the gas drilling company. So I will be there fighting for people when they need a governor on their side. Max needs somebody on their side. I'm here today. I'm trying to lower the temperature a little bit here today. I'm asking that because this is about Max. This isn't. This is first and foremost about Max and getting him water. I wish I didn't have to be here today because Max would then have had his water, but he doesn't have his water. And I want that to stay focused there. In terms of the future, we need that independent office. I do believe in permanent solutions, and I will work with Penvest to bring public water to places where it's humanly possible to make that happen if we have other situations like Dimmock. I'm even told in the Dimmock area that because of some other developments that the water line has been partially extended or could be partially extended. So maybe even there down the road that we can have a good permanent solution. But I'll be working with families who need the help of the governor. And I got a lot done as DEP secretary in 2 years and 4 months. I walked into this whole issue when the train was barreling down the road. And very frankly, I've been praised by some and attacked by some. And some of the attacks, they don't know what they're talking about, very frankly, to be direct with you. But as governor, I'll get a whole lot more done. I'll get a whole lot more done. I can't get everything right, but I care about people, and I care about Max, and I care about the people in Dimick, and I will make everything in terms of this water situation a top priority for my government, my state government, and my DEP secretary, and the new